Hi, a quick disclaimer, this is not a paid promotion. Dockcase has no control over the editorial or what I say. I bought 2 enclosures with my own money. They did send me 2 extra enclosures for review. These are purely my opinions. Video is detailed walkthrough. Due to the duration, videos will be part 1 and 2. Firmware update requires Windows system. Description will contain affiliate links. And finally, thanks for your time. Hello everybody, my name is Inder and welcome to this video. I recently got a very good deal on this used Mac Studio M1 Max, which is 512 gigabit storage, basic one. So I wanted to expand the storage. And on Amazon sale, I found these two guys at a very good price. One is this NVMe M2 P3 Plus by Crucial, 4 terabytes, and one is SATA 2.5 SSD, 4 terabytes. Now, I was looking for enclosures for these two SSDs, and that's what we'll explore. Now, in the next chapter, we'll see the selection criteria for these two. But before that, let's open these guys. So we have Crucial NVMe M2 P3 Plus. Comes with this spare screw for mounting it in the enclosure. Let's keep that aside. And the other is 870 EVO. Booklet, the software for taking backup and copying the data from another drive, and then 4 terabytes, 870 EVO. So we have these two guys. And let's jump in and find the best enclosures for these. So I usually buy everything from Amazon. So for NVMe enclosures, we've got Ugreen, Orico, and Casus. This one apparently has the best speed. It's 40 Gbps, and the Crucial P3 Plus basically is rated at 4,800 read and write. And I usually like Orico stuff, but here I was quite impressed with Dockcase. They have a screen where the screen tells you the life of the SSD and other very important information. And Explorer Edition is this circuitry exposed, looks great, and there are different colors in it. So I basically wanted to get this. And dock cases have different enclosures for USB-C hubs, and they also have one for 2.5 hard drive, which gives you power loss protection, which is PLP. It's USB 3.2 Gen 2, and then we have other visual smart cases. So I checked out their website, and they have SSD enclosures. One is 5-second PLP Smart M2 NVMe SSD enclosure, which just comes in black color, and the other one is Explorer Edition, and Explorer Edition is exposed circuitry, and it comes in black, silver, and this other pinkish kind of color. This is the screen which tells you that there is a small little battery which gives you power loss protection. Sometimes, when you eject your drive up, there is a sudden power loss. Some of the data which is being written onto the drive can get corrupted. So PLP is helpful that ways. And then it tells you about the make of the drive and the connection and the speed. And it also tells you the health of the device. And there is one segment which tells you what kind of data is being written and what kind of data is being read. Then in the information, it tells you how many powers on hours your power cycle of the drive, read units, written units. So you have an overview of how your internal drive is performing and also the lifespan of it. Because when it drops to a certain point, usually I see like if it's 85 or 82, I tend to change these drives. So this is the screen. It's rotatable. There is a button, and if you have an older system, it also has 15-watt auxiliary power supply that you can extra basically add to it. But on a Mac Studio, I don't think I'll need that. And it is USB 3.2 Gen 2, and it has got thermal adhesive tape, which is graphite, which is a very good quality. And the enclosure is made of aluminum alloy, so the cooling of the drive, because NVMe's tend to run a little hot, so this is really good. They provide a tool for fixing, and it also basically not only this size of NVMe, but the other sizes also can fit in it. And they have given some recommended and not recommended drives. So they have uh, black color and silver color. So this is what I wanted to get, and I bought the silver Dockcase Explorer edition, and I got. They also have the SATA one, where I purchased the SATA enclosure for 2.5, and right now it's not listed on their site. I'll tell you the reason later. It's basically this enclosure I purchased and the Explorer Edition Silver, which matches with Mac Studio. With this one, I didn't have very good experience, and I'll tell you more about it. Later in the video, we will be unboxing these guys. So this was my selection criteria. Now let's move on to the unboxing of these devices. Here we have all the dock cases, and I wanted to tell you that this is not a sponsored video. I have purchased this one, which is the SATA 2.5 and silver edition to match my Mac Studios color Explorer edition. And I basically spoke to Dockcase and told them that I will be making a YouTube video on the experience with these drives and also how to update the firmware, and I can share that process with you all. So I purchased these two, and these two, they were kind enough to send these to me to basically um, make videos and kind of provide a comparison between these drives. So that's the disclaimer. I was not paid anything, although these two drives were sent to me by them, and these two I purchased. So first of all, let's open this guy. This is for 7 to 15 SATA disks. So if you have SSD, they are slightly thinner. And then if you have hard drive, that also you can use in this. And the thickness of this is basically slightly thicker than other 2.5 SATA enclosures. And here, most of the info is written in foreign language that I don't understand, which is Chinese, Mandarin. And let's open these guys. So as you open the drive, I'll put this aside. We have 2.5 smart hard drive enclosure, and this one's called C1 Pro. And it's for SSD and HDD, and there is 15 watts sign. So basically this can also have external power. If your system is underpowered, then you can use now aux power to power up this device. And then other details of how to use this device, and there are a couple of other things in this. Let's go over those. And small little covering, and here is the enclosure. Very beautiful gray. This matches space gray. Dockcase Smart 2.5 HDD SSD enclosure, model number DHWC1PH, made in China. And there is also this little number which you can see, it says 10. So probably that's the speed that they are referring to, 10 Gbps. At the back, we have this ribbed kind of a backplate with Dockcase branding. I really like their branding. And smart drive, so you have one connection, which is uh, this is USB-C that we'll connect to our computer with, and this is the extra power that you can provide it, which is 5 volts and 10 amperes and amps. And there's a menu button here which helps you navigate through this. And along with this, they provide this cable, and this cable has an inbuilt adapter for C to A, and this is blue, so that means it's USB 3. And let's power on this guy just to check. Oh wait, before that, let's look at this. We have 2 extra screws for the back plate, and they've also given a screwdriver to open the case. I'll put this aside. And the plate is open, and I wanted to basically show you one small thing, which is that these screws, this is a magnetic pad, but these screws are not made of just normal iron, so they don't have any magnetic thing to it. Back plate, small little pads, and inside they have some foam cushioning and some these are rubber pads. So if your drive is basically, they want you to put these so that your drive doesn't move. But what I have found is that the case is quite snug. This is the battery, so this is what provides PLP. When you plug it with into your computer, then this battery gets charged, and that's what provides the power loss protection. Smart 2.5 HDD SSD enclosure. So we'll take our SSD, and I already have some data on it, and it is quite snug, as you can see. And that's also a slight drawback because it takes a while to take this drive out. Now it is quite snug. Right now I won't close this because I want to connect it and show it to you. Let me demonstrate the connection of this device so that you can see what happens. So we take the USB provided with the dock case, plug it in, and this one I will plug into my Mac Studio, and it gets power on. I'll just show you where it is plugged. It's plugged into Mac Studio's front port. And that's the info that we get. And right now I have data on this SSD, so it is seeing a lot of info. These are touch buttons. Not showing the menu, but by pressing this, you see the PLP charging. You see the drive details, which is 4 TB SATA 6 Gbps. That's the connection speed that we are getting. And life is good. And 3.6 terabytes. And I have GPD partitions too. Now, this menu button, when you press it twice, you change the orientation. You have to be on the menu's main screen to be able to rotate it. This is a good orientation for this video. Please don't mind the reflection of the top camera. I'll try and keep it at an angle. So if you keep the menu button pressed like this, then it shows you disk info, partitions, about me, monitor, these options. Monitor is basically when you are disk info, everything about the disk, the capacity, power on hours, power cycles, unsafe shutdowns, uh, read units, written units, remaining life. So this is good. Otherwise, on my system, I use a program called Drive DX, which tells you the health. But here on the enclosure, you're getting this option, which is great. So disk info, partitions. I have APFS partition, which is 3.6 terabytes. And about me, you have the model number of the drive, the version of the firmware, which we'll talk about how to update. And then you have other options, boot mode, and screensaver. How many seconds do you want screensaver to be? You can turn it to off or other, so that, disk power delay, restore, restart. And this little yellow symbol that you see, I'll point out the USB. They have written in the other devices, basically, you shouldn't see the symbol. This symbol basically tells us that the USB enclosure is not getting enough power. But here we are powering it from Mac Studio, which is a fairly advanced machine, and it's not some really old computer. Even then, the Dockcase enclosure for this drive is not able to get enough power. So that for me is a deal breaker, because this enclosure should be able to perform really well from the USB port of the Mac Studio. I've tested it on other systems also. I don't know whether it's my enclosure, but that is a deal breaker. Maybe that's the reason why this case is not there on their website. Maybe they are trying to renew certain aspects of it. It's a great case, but I think they need to work on the power delivery module of this so that it is a viable purchase. And as of now, because of this, I would not recommend you getting this case. Hi, this is going to be a long video. I got myself a coffee, and now let's move on to the NVMe drive enclosures. So first of all, this one. This one is uh, the black version, which is not exposing the circuitry. 3.2 Gen 2 10 Gbps M2 SSD, and intelligent display, 5 to 10-second power loss protection. They have different variants. You can get one in 5 seconds PLP, and the other one is 10 seconds. Dockcase, very bare minimum packaging details. That aside, we have this rubber pad, which is actually quite helpful. And then we have Dockcase. This is space gray version, and the screen is all black. And on this side, it says SSD enclosure model DSWC1P equipped with hardware level PLP made in China, and 10 the circle. I don't think that means speed. And then we have the same aluminium chassis, this strip design, which is very good for heat dissipation. Designed by Dockcase. Their designers are really really good. I mean, they've designed this uh, enclosure really well. Then there is this plastic coverage, and let's remove that. Keep that aside. And what do we get with the case? With this one, again, we have the same cable, which has inbuilt connector from C to USB-A. This is 3.2 and C. And then we have a screwdriver. And then we have two gaskets, which are not rubber, which is a solid material, and one extra screw. And we'll keep this with this guy. And we have a booklet which basically says C1 Pro and the model number. This model number is very important. You either have 5 seconds PLP version or you have 10-second PLP version. So it has got some useful info. This basically says that it supports SSDs up to 2 terabytes. That is very important, although I've tried it with 4 and it works, but they have said that it can support 2 TB. More than that, I mean, there's a risk of disconnections. Screen, screw fixation, and some other details. How to navigate the menu. It's the same in all the Dockcase enclosures, and they are in Shenzhen. And yes, that's the booklet, and I'll keep this thing aside as well. We have the cable and the Dockcase. Let's open the other one. This one is Explorer Edition Silver. This is what I got for my Mac Studio because this silver matches with silver of Mac Studio USB 3.2 Gen 2 10 Gbps and 5 to 10 seconds. I think their models, Explorer editions, have 10. And let's open this guy. Same packing material. We have the pad. We have this beautiful Explorer edition. As you can see, the whole circuitry is exposed, and this silver matches with the Mac Studio Silver SSD enclosure, model number DSWC1CES, equipped with hardware level PLP made in China. And just to kind of show you that the silver matches with Mac Studio, here it is. So if you keep it side by side, it's the same color. And we have the same kind of screw, same body material, different color. We have two gaskets and one extra screw and one screwdriver. And this one has a special cable. This one does not have the A connector inbuilt, but it does mention that it's a 10 Gbps 60 watts cable. So this is a better quality cable than this one, definitely. So this is M2 Smart SSD enclosure DSW-C1C series, and all the details. I'll keep this aside. We have this cable for this and USB-C to C for this, and then the other dock case, which is Dockcase Explorer Black. So that's what the ES and EB. This one's model number will be definitely with EB because it's Explorer Black. We have the model number and the booklet, same box, keep that aside. The pad and Explorer edition. This is black, but yet the top circuitry is exposed. And this one I'll keep for my traveling purposes. While I'm exploring, I'll use Explorer edition. See, this one says EB, that means Explorer Black, and DSW-C1C SSD enclosure, same branding, it's just the color is different. And again, we have two gaskets and one extra screw and the screwdriver. Keep that aside. And this one again, Explorer edition, comes with this cable which has Dockcase branding, and it says 10 Gbps 60 watts. So these are the cables, and here are the dock cases. Now the difference in all these, as you can see on this side, they are all the same. I'll keep the pads aside as well. On the top, they are all the same. And then the menu button, this is where you see the difference. Now, Explorer editions, they have this extra port. This is where we connect with the computer, but these ports are for the aux power. Suppose if you have an older computer and you want to use these, then you have to connect a separate power through an adapter to these ports so that these cases work. This one, C1 Pro, Jet Black one, this one doesn't have the aux power. That's why this case only supports 2 terabytes, but these ones support higher storage capacities. Let's find out what's the storage capacity. Yeah, here it says 4 terabytes. So as long as you have 4 terabytes, you're good. Anything more than that, I mean, you would require extra power, or maybe the enclosure will work, but it may have some disconnections. And now, before we start doing any NVMe installation in these drives, the best thing would be to actually update the firmware. And for these devices, updating the firmware is a slightly complicated process. Now, in the next chapter, we'll go through that.